Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Geeky Gamer podcast featuring Ken, Miller, and John. We're going to play some the Legends of Venice, a mundane setting for the Linen Tapestry today. And I want to thank our people who support us on the Patreon. And if you want to give us a coffee, you can do that at Dreadlore. All lowercase letters, Mr. Interrupt provide the music for this setting. Couchfire Media does production. Dreadlore, or Twilight Productions does something else. We're not sure. They're just not around anymore. I mean, I don't really know. And hopefully everything's going out live because we've been on break for a hot minute, and that's great.
Greetings. So this is effectively the first downtime. So what we're going to do is bridge the gap between the introductory story, which we did last time, which was the Doge is dead, long live the Doge. And then 2 years has passed, and we'll cover that before the next story, which is called The Twin Vipers. It's split into 3 stories, and we're going to do the first of the 3 for the next, hopefully, 3 or 4 weeks. We'll see how it goes. And that's the Twin Vipers is an adventure module that was part of the Kickstarter, which I ran successfully. Thank you to everyone who supported, mainly these 2 included. Just a play test. What's going to go out to the backers from the Kickstarter in maybe 4 or 5 months. So, without further ado, I will let the players introduce themselves and the characters from what they can remember. As I say, we're going to go through downtime, recaps, let everyone have a chance to actually remember what the heck was doing. Because as Ken pointed out before we kicked off, it's been 3 months, and I struggle to remember everything, so hopefully you guys can help me. So, Miller, I'll start with you with your character, Marco. Over to you.
Okay, I'm playing Marco de Medici. He's a younger man that came to Venice from Florence, representing the de Medici family. His uncle had actually started a branch of the bank there. And like I said, he's a younger guy. He's full of passion, and he's definitely operates with the future in mind. He basically wants to be the one to bring the de Medici family to Venice with popularity and make some money on the side.
Okay. Next, Ken. Daucus.
I am playing Daucus, not Dorcas, like many have said in the past. Carota, who's a member of the Night Watch, a guard in San Polo district. I have been investigating a couple of things, like there's this Saltwater Curse I've been kind of investigating, and then we just stopped an assassination attempt on what is it? No, it was one of the guys. It was
one of the prospective Doges. It was Tomaso Mocenigo, I think.
Yeah, Mocenigo. That's who we stopped a plot on him by Carlo Zena, and really, it's just we've been walking a fine line. We broke in. We went to some places we weren't supposed to go, and we did the right thing, and kind of escaped by the skin of our teeth. And certainly there was much joy to stop that. And I guess Carlos Zeno, who was up for the Doge race, took off, and there is a new Doge in town. And I think that's what, Michelle Steno? That was an unexpected.
Michelle Steno.
An unexpected twist. Nobody saw Steno coming. They thought it was going to be Tomaso Mocenigo or Federico Tribuno.
Yeah, brilliant. So, okay. So the recap from the last story, two things happened mainly. One, Daucus, have I pronounced it? Is it Daucus? Yeah.
It's Daucus. D-A-U-C.
Daucus.
Dorcas.
And I said Daucus. It sounds. Dorcas.
Sounds like Dorcas.
Right.
D-A-U-C-U-S. I know what it sounds like.
Yep. So he and Marco discovered the identity of Dorcas's friend, a courtesan of Venice by the name of Angua. As it turned out, that she wasn't entirely human. She was something else, something that could float upon water, and could effectively kill a man by touch. There was a scene along the canal where Marco arrived to see three men. One man was fleeing the scene, one man was cowering in the corner, and one man had leapt into the canal to grab hold of her. So her presence either brought on abject fear or obsession, and the obsession on the guy who desired her brought him to ruin. He died. His death was very similar to the death of another man and his disappearance and subsequent discovery of murder led to Dorcas's investigation. So Angua had to go underground, and then eventually fled Venice. We'll come back to that. And then the second thing, the main thing of the story, was the foiled assassination attempt of Tomaso Mocenigo, which was carried out by Marco, Dorcas, and oh my god, Bill's character, Mateo. Yeah. So between the three of you, you managed to get yourselves inside the ducal palace, hide, and then as the would-be assassins broke into, with the help of a palace guard, engaged, you tried to ensure that no one was harmed. However, the palace guards who were slow on the uptake, but when they eventually arrived, they were heavy-handed, and no matter what Marco and Dorcas tried to do, one of the men who had broken in was possibly fatally wounded. So, Carlo Zeno's brother, Niccolo, who was defeated in combat by Marco, and there was definitely a bitter rivalry sparked in the engagement. Dorcas, in the meantime, was trying to save the life of the injured shipmate by the name, who is Amerigo. Double check. Yeah, Amerigo Marucci. Serious wound, bleeding out. Dorcas did his best with first aid to try and stem the flow, but in the end, they had to take him out. Everyone was thinking he was dead. However, a gentleman, a physician by the name of
Enrico,
thank you very much. He arrived, and he said he could save him, but it would be close. And rather than confirming he could do it or not, he asked you two how important this man staying alive was. And your answer, I think, Daucus, was got to keep him alive.
Yeah.
So, what was not revealed at the end of the last story is that you head to one of the scuole of the city, Evangelista, I think it's that one. He takes Amerigo, patches him up, and he keeps you in the corridor. I think you might have remembered that in this one of the side doors of the Grand School. This is where Enrico effectively works. He's got an operating table, corridor, a couple of other doors that leads off into storerooms and other rooms. He, with the assistance of you two, gets the almost dead Amerigo onto the table, and then he asks you two to leave, shuts the door, and 30 minutes later, 40 minutes later, he calls you both in, and to your amazement, Amerigo is alive. His wound has been sealed. Daucus, you have first aid, so I don't think, Marco, you don't. So Daucus, you realise that whatever's been done to Amerigo, it's almost as if someone's accelerated the healing process by weeks, months, because this wound you'd have to stitch up and then let the stitches heal, remove the stitches, and that's a process that would take weeks, months. But the wound has been sealed. Amerigo is still pale. He's lost a lot of blood. He's barely conscious, but he's alive. What Enrico says to you two is that in return of saving Amerigo's life, I wish you to say nothing. It is best for his sake and our sake that Amerigo's status is considered exaggerated. He was never dying. He was in a manageable state. He wasn't really on the verge of death, because if questions are asked, things will get very complicated. He'll also be, no doubt, a wanted man by the Xenos, because he was part of the Xenos crew. But I will leave that, how that's dealt, entirely up to you two. So, that kind of wraps up that story. So where we're at is Angua has fled Venice, but she left you a message, Daucus, saying that she, if you wanted to see
her, I could go to the river
leading into the lagoon.
Yeah.
She gives you a location. You've got Amerigo, who is indebted to both of you. How you want to keep his profile, so to speak, in the city quiet isn't you two are going to have to work out. Because if he's seen by anyone who knows him, it's going to be a bit suspicious. And if they know his connection to Carlo Zeno and Niccolo Zeno, his life could be forfeit. Yes, Carlo Zeno withdrew his name from the vote, and he pretty much has left Venice, and for the foreseeable future not to be seen again. He's effectively left in disgrace. The evidence that you guys provided to the Lords of Night, you hear rumours, Daucus, that the Lords of Night, the Six Lords, held a meeting with Carlo Zeno. They presented him with all the evidence. He denied everything, but he decided to leave Venice. No reasons given, but he's gone. So Michel Steno took over as Doge, and you two, as well as Mateo, are heroes. Being a hero in Venice is quite fleeting, so you've got maybe half a year at the most to milk that fame for as long as you can. So, speaking of fame, one of the things I've done based on the play testing is I've made a few changes. One of the changes is the introduction of reputation as a stat on the character sheet. It's based on two things. One, how it's going to work is going to be a bit like Dreadlaw, where you've got a stat. If you can use that stat and you can weave it into the story, into the fiction, you get a bonus. And also the inspiration came from the bull himself, Daucus from the bar scene, where he just ploughed into a group of people with a table to diffuse the situation. So, Daucus, you have a reputation of Il Toro. You've got it as 1. So whenever you can, you are able to retain 1 extra die in the dice roll whenever you can apply that reputation of being the bull to the situation, whether it's intimidation, leadership, persuasion. If you can somehow wrangle it into combat where you're wanting to charge people, entirely up to you. It's there. You just have to use it. Other things that I've done based on the play test is the defenses. So when I've gone through your character sheets, I've adjusted them, so you'll notice that they're not as high as they used to be. All expertises, whether it's defense or an expertise that you add to your roll, is all equal to rank times 5. But with defenses, I wanted to try and make it a bit more interesting for the defender. So you can nominate 2 defenses, or up to 2 defenses per round. Oh, sorry, per attack. So you can either double up or decide whether or not you want to save your defenses and spread them out, because you'll have maybe 2-3 defenses that you can use per round, and once those 3 are gone, you can't use them. You get them back the next round, but if you're being attacked by someone who can hit you multiple times, or you're outnumbered, it's down to you guys as to how you manage that resource. At the same time, if you can use the environment around you, you can get an additional bonus to your defense. Okay. So they're the 2 main changes. If anything else comes up, I'll let you know. But for the time being, what we'll do is, what do you guys want to have done in the next 2 years? I'll go through events that will happen to you both individually, and then also events that affect the whole region, and they'll lead up to the next story, the Twin Vipers. So, Marco, what would your character have liked to have done in the 2 years?
I've got quite a few things actually. So let's start off with Amerigo first.
Yeah.
I want to make sure he's taken care of.
Okay.
I definitely need to go back to Florence to make that connection and get Giovanni up there.
Yeah.
To meet with Enzio. Or Ezio.
Yeah, Enzio. Yeah.
Enzio. So I think when I do make that trip back to Florence, I'll take Amerigo with me, and then kind of give him a life there with the family, get him a job, doing whatever he's good at.
Okay.
That way he's away from all the Venetian drama.
Right. Okay. So the meeting does go ahead. It's about 6 months later. You send correspondence back and forth. Giovanni, in one of the letters he sends to you, he says, I've had rumors about Enzio, but if you trust him, I will meet with him. But obviously, in Florence, I don't trust him and what he could possibly be enough to meet him on possibly hostile territory, so he can come to me. When you present that condition to Enzio, he's more than happy. He doesn't care where he meets. He's heard good things about the de Medici bank, and is quite eager. So you arrange transport for you and him, and possibly Amerigo, because obviously Amerigo, I don't want to just have you dictate what Amerigo does, because also Daucus might have plans for him. So you travel with Enzio to Florence. You meet your family, who I think the last time you met them was like 15-20 years ago. So everyone says to you, "Oh, you're so well. You're all grown up. Blah 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 blah." They want to know about your uncle. How's it going? Meanwhile, private meetings occur between Enzio and Giovanni. They seem to go well, but both of them don't speak about what was discussed. While you're there, and in these 6 months, do you tell anyone about how your perception of the world has changed? I.e., you're now an initiate. You have seen things that are impossible, but in your head, in your understanding, it makes perfect sense, as so long as there are other things going on. So the myths, the legends, the idea of spirits, demons, devils, other worlds, the world of the dead, blah blah blah, all of that now kind of makes sense. Doesn't detach you from your religious faith, that's personal, but on top of that, you have an expanded understanding of the world and what's beyond it. Do you tell anyone about that in the 2 years?
Yeah, I think whenever he's traveling with Enzio to Florence in the carriage during the carriage ride, I'll bring it up, just kind of subtle at first.
Okay. By the end of the journey, actually, it takes several weeks to get there. So by the time you get to Florence, he now knows that you're an initiate. He then tells you that he is something like an initiate, but greater. If your interests and his align, he'll be more than happy to teach you what he can. But when he says, when your interests align, you're pretty sure he's not talking about money, ambitions, that sort of thing. His terminology is obviously as clouded as your initial approach to him. But if your character doesn't have a mentor, you can spend experience to get him as a mentor. So you have that as a possibility. Getting that.
Yeah, I do not have a mentor yet.
Okay, so that's a possibility. If you want to form a stronger bond between you and Enzio, you can. Okay. A mentor reduces experience costs by a little bit, but also a mentor looks after you so long as you serve him. So the higher the rank, the stronger the bond is. So rank 1, he might be incredibly powerful, but it's the ranks are your connection with him, not his power level. It's how much time he can dedicate towards you. That's how it works. Right. So, okay. So 6 months, 7 months, you come back to Venice, and you and he form closer ties. Do you tell your uncle about being an initiate? You are told That's the terminology. You've been initiated into the Great Cycle.
I don't think so. I'll hint at it a little bit.
Okay. The hints mean nothing to him.
Okay.
Right. I'll come back to you. So, Daucus, a few things happen to you quite quickly. One, your captain, he introduced you to a couple of other members of the Night Watch, but they're clearly at his level. They're all captains. You get the impression that he's possibly going to try and train you to replace him, but by doing so, get you to be a recognizable name face with the other captains of the other Associari of Venice. However, there is the question of Angua that comes up once or twice. The way that it was left was you had her and you let her go. She was the murderer of a noble, 2 nobles possibly, and as far as he's concerned, and the Night Watch, you let her go. So they are still quite eager to know what you know, and there's, after about 3 or 4 weeks, it's quite clear that you have to choose quick promotion and hand over Angua, or stay where you are. Because as far as your captain's concerned, he trusts you, he knows what you like, and you get the job done. But what the rest of the Night Watch wants is someone who will fall in line. Okay. I think you've got her as an attachment with 10 points, and your mentor is 20. But at first it was a tough situation because it's him versus her, but now it's quite clearly it's her versus the rest of the Night Watch. Okay.
Well, she did make it easy by leaving. Yes,
but it's quite clear that while they don't know exactly what she is, they know that she's not human because of what she did.
Sure.
So, Amerigo, what's your plans, or what would you want to do with Amerigo?
I actually probably wouldn't pay much. Like, once he was stable and safe, I would probably just let him do. If I ran into him in the street or something, but I wouldn't have suck him out. I would have gone throughout a series of other tasks probably that didn't really involve him because of my duties in the night watch and such.
No problem. Okay then. So going back to Marco's thread, Amerigo is now under the employ of Giovanni de Medici as a henchman, so to speak. He's not good for anything else. He's a shipmate. On land, he's a bit useless. He knows how to attack people, but he's a fish out of water. But it keeps him alive, and he's more than happy to serve your family, Marco, just as you've saved his life. As far as he's concerned, he died. The last thing he remembers was Daucus doing his best to keep him alive, but he knew, and he told you both this, that he could feel his life passing away from him. And then the next thing he remembers is a strange feeling of someone. He describes it as a living nightmare, where he can feel someone ripping and tearing and reforming his body, but he only remembers it as a nightmare, so it's kind of like a body horror scenario for him. He doesn't quite understand how he survived. He just knows he did. And it's quite clear to both of you that within a week, there were people on the streets of Venice looking for him. Especially you, Doc, as you know within a matter of weeks that while Carlo and Niccolo Zeno are not in Venice, they still have agents looking for anyone who could be traitors. Because as far as Carlo Zeno's concerned, it wasn't any other agency that foiled him, it was one of his own. Okay, so...
But...
Yeah, go ahead.
If... I would have done some things during that time.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I would have collected all the twine and sticks that I put out and dredged those areas to see if I could find any other, and kind of followed up on the Saltwater Curse, gone through and seeing if I could dig up any additional information on, and if the drowning just stopped completely after Angua took off, or if there were still some issues.
The drownings cease. There's the odd person who's drunk, falls in the water. It's freezing cold. It's kind of a strong current. Most of those survive because friends jump in and save them, or they just disappear. None of them are nobles, so no one really cares. Pardon me. But what you do notice, which is strange, and is a lot of the twigs and the twinings that you'd sent out do gather together. It's either you or Luigi, your trusty sidekick, who was fishing the last time that you sent him out to chuck sticks in the water. He comes back to you with a bizarre story suggesting that those twigs, something's made a nest out of them in the water. He brings out a sack, he chucks them on the ground, they're still sodden. And it also looks that the twigs, I mean, some of them are maybe a foot long, quite thick. They've been chewed on, but not by a dog, by something with a fairly large mouth. You're not sure how big a mouth, but it's not human, it's not dog, it's much bigger than any sort of creature you'd find in Venice. So the death, once Angua disappears, those deaths cease.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that you're wanting to do, say, for the first 6 months?
I would have probably because I think it wasn't 100% certain. I think that Zeno Carlos sent out the assassin. It was probable, but there was still some suspicion of the Tribuno family being involved in some capacity. So I would just keep my ear out, not actively, but just kind of, because I know that those two groups were basically up for civil war. And so, like, if there's one of the groups that are out, from one of the families or the other one, neither of them got what they wanted. Neither of them got what their way, but there could be some, violence in the street between those two.
Yeah, the popular view was that Carlo Zeno had done something which he shouldn't have, but which kind of kicked him out of the running. But with Carlo's reputation, the fact that he did something that he shouldn't have done, which was a bit naughty, just bolsters his reputation. He is a dastardly sort of character. He could probably kill someone, and they'd spin it so that he was a hero for killing someone. He has that sort of reputation. But if you are listening out for the possibility that the Tribuno could have been involved, you get the impression that once people are interested in that possibility to possibly clear Carlo Zeno's name, it spreads rather than it being there already. You feel like you start inquiring about it, it then creates a fiction, and then that then kind of spreads like a
it's more
virus.
like if I noticed anything like that, you know.
Right. You don't. But
Right.
you know that there's people out there who will take any story that
Sure.
will save the reputation of Carlo Zeno.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep my lips pretty tight. I don't give them all the information. I just kind of like, you know,
Got ya.
it's
That's
a
okay.
little bit.
Yeah.
I would also write my adopted mom and send money
Right. Okay.
to
No
her
problem.
because that's what I do.
Cool.
So I'm perpetually poor. It doesn't matter if I make more money. I'm still poor.
Got ya. So, do you head out to meet Angua?
I think if I were to do that, I would go and visit my adopted mom, and then go visit Angua on the way back. Like, if
Right.
that makes any sense, go back into the hills,
Yeah.
and like tell Vito that I you know, I need a little vacation. I've been doing this for a while, and we saved the city. Everything's kind of calmed down a bit, you know. Give me a month to go visit mom, and then I'll be back.
So the first time that you do that, you're pretty sure that you have a tail.
Mm-hmm.
That people follow you out of the lagoon, but as soon as you head into the hills, you lose the tail. So that when you come back and you head to the river mouth that Angua told you to go, you're pretty sure that you're not being followed. When you get to the river, it's a river. There's nothing in it. First day goes by, nothing happens. Second day goes by, nothing happens. There's the occasional person who fishes there. There is a lagoon community around, dotted all around the little islands and the coastlines of the lagoon. But in general, if you don't bother them, they don't bother you. How long do you stay next to the river?
Maybe a week. Just kind of.
Okay.
Not longer than that, because I gotta be getting back. You know, just kind of looking out over, making sure that, you know, dreamily, because I liked Angua. We were close, and maybe I'll
After about 5 days, you kind of think, oh god, wild goose chase. You're not sure why you're there, and then just as you're about to leave, you hear familiar laughing, but it's a mixture between flowing water and laughter, and it's hair laughter that you can clearly recognize. When you look back into the river, there's no one there, but you're sure that's where the laughter came from. You spend a bit longer trying to figure out where the sound came from, and you start seeing a face flowing in between. Like, there's a shallow part where there's a bit of a rock pool next to the river, and forming in one of the little areas or little pools is Angua's face. And strangely enough, she's looking directly at you, and she says, "Hello, how are you doing? I was beginning to think that you'd leave, but you haven't, which is always good."
Well, I always loved you, Angua, and I'm sad the way it all turned out, and I feel like it's probably a smart move that that you left the city, because God knows I'm losing my reputation by protecting you a little bit, and I wanted to make sure you were okay, and that if I needed you, I could find you.
The waters go quiet. The face disappears from the water. A couple of minutes later, it comes back. And then the face turns, so it's the top of her head, and she literally lifts out of the water. So from just being crystal water to a woman, her form just kind of rises up out of the water. Think like is it the T-2000 from Terminator?
Yeah.
It's just literally just rises up. She's not clothed at first, but seeing your embarrassment, she warps water around herself, and she's soon clothed. And you two talk. It's quite clear she doesn't have much attachment to Venice. She would love to go back again. She found the people very entertaining, but if her being there is dangerous for you, she will not go back. But if there is, it's quite clear that if you do want to stay in touch with her, she owes you a favor. And if there's anything that she can do in her capacity, she will do it for you.
I will warn her before I leave. If I come back again, expect I'm being followed, because it'll be an emergency. And so, I would just be careful.
Nothing can harm me in my waters.
It's good to know.
Real
quick question, Angua. Say I run into anybody else like you, is there a hand signal or like a secret handshake or some kind of thing that might help protect me from maybe some folks that aren't as kind and as gentle as you?
She just laughs. She gives you no answer. She just chuckles.
All right. Well, it's lovely seeing you.
A couple of days pass. She will literally just, if you're hungry, fish will just jump out of the water at your feet. Obviously, you've got to cook them, but she'll make sure that you've got food and water. So day 2 passes. When you leave, just as she's fading back into the water, she says in a quite sorrowful tone that if you do wish this to be the end, I will still owe you the favor, but I will understand. Your lives are short and fleeting, and we are not the same. Our futures. You are but a blink of the eye in my lifetime.
I understand.
Okay.
It is a joy and of sorrow that I have to leave you now.
Okay. Pecks you on the cheek, and then she sinks back into the water, and giggling and chuckling that she does, she just flows away towards the lagoon. You then head back to Venice. That's about 3 or 4 months. There's only one other thing before we move things on, is when you get back, someone has kicked in the door of your home and smashed your place up.
That ain't good.
Your neighbours, quite tight-lipped about it. It's clear that they know what was happening, and you manage to find one person who reluctantly, even though they respect you, they like you, but it's quite clear that you've made an enemy somewhere, and it's not an enemy within the lower classes. And then that kind of goes quiet, but for the rest of the 2 years, or if anything else happens until then, you feel like you have to keep your wits about you.
Sure.
Because that was just a warning.
Yeah, I presume it's probably Girolamo. Girolamo,
Girolamo,
yeah, Girolamo.
Could be.
That's my
Could
guess. Is who it could be.
Who knows?
Sounds like him, for sure.
So that's about 6 months. Yeah. About 6 months pass. So Amerigo is out of Venice. He's safe with Giovanni de Medici. Oh yes. Does Daucus tell? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, just on America, when he was talking about his experience, did it seem like he might be an initiate also after witnessing that?
No,
Okay.
he. The longer he thinks about it, the more he dismisses it. It's almost as if the difference between a mundane and an initiate is the mundane will quickly dismiss it or rationalize it into something that's clearly not the case, while the initiate, because it's a light bulb moment, you go, right, and it all links things together. But it's quite clear that Amerigo, which is a good point, is not an initiate. Okay. However, you were initiated because you saw and you were conscious of something. He was unconscious and on the verge of dying, so he didn't witness anything. So in the game, the whole idea of having witnesses to magic is a prominent feature. So that when you perform magic, if you have witnesses, that's something that you have to consider. So, to your knowledge, Amerigo is not an initiate. Daucus, do you tell anyone about the fact that you are an initiate, or at the very least, your consciousness of the world, understanding, has expanded so that you know there is something beyond the borders?
I wouldn't talk to Vito, but I certainly might drop a couple of hints to the doctor, Enrico. I might say, ask him more than tell him. You know.
Okay.
Just because of what he did with the, with what he did to Amerigo.
Amerigo. Yeah, he doesn't take long. He is relieved that you are an initiate. He explains to you that there is something called the Great Cycle. This is the mundane realm. All patterns pass through the Great Cycle. They start off as an idea, and they are born, not physically, or as in a child is born, but an idea such as the creation of something, an idea of something, an idea of a nation, the building of something. Those are patterns that are born. Yeah. All patterns grow old and die, and then when they die in the mundane, they appear as memories in the Shadowlands. He gives you loads of information. He's more than happy. You get the impression that he's in desperate need of initiates, people who can work with him and witness the magic that he can perform without any adverse effects. You do notice that within 2 or 3 weeks of you telling him that you're an initiate, or you finding out that you're an initiate, he explains that the dynamic of the Night Watch giving you the promotion shifts from being give us Angua and get promoted or don't, quickly shifts to when do you want to become a captain? It's quite clear that the more time that you spend with Enrico, that nearly all of the captains of the Night Watch visit him. Mm-hmm. They're all like Vito. He is some sort of hub of information, but you're not told any more than that. You've got another year and a half. Things that happen in the first year globally is the Duke of Milan, Gian Galeazzo. Everyone knows him to be a monster of a man. His ambitions know no bounds. Before the turn of the century, he threatened to take over all of the region. Florence, Bologna, Verona, Padua, Venice. He was on the verge of taking over northeast Italy. But an alliance between Venice, Florence, Bologna, and so forth, the northern states, rallied together and stopped him. That cowed his confidence. But recently, the Holy Roman Empire, seeing Gian as a possible threat to his throne, launched an attack against Milan. That attack is ongoing at the moment. But it's kind of shifted things. Being a Florentine, you know that Gian Galeazzo came so close to taking over that if the Holy Roman Emperor can wipe him out or put him in his place, like, the safety of the region is guaranteed. So everyone's rooting for the Holy Roman Emperor to do his thing. So that's ongoing. This is like in the first year. Michel Steno is doing a pretty good job of being a yes man. He's a yes man to his wife, who is clearly not just a mundane. She is someone who is at least an initiate. She is a similar figure to Enzio. I'm gonna get a name. I've got a name.
Marina? Is that Marina?
That's it, Marina. Yep.
Marina.
Just gonna get a full sheet. Yeah, Marina. Yeah. So, is there anything else in the next 6 months to a year that you guys want to do before I move things on in downtime? Or is there anything that you want to spend your 15 experience on?
Oh, we got 15 experience. I would like to understand how to get that to spend it, but because I have not done any of that, and I've forgotten.
No, that's fine. I've put up two little tables in the chat on Discord. Mm-hmm. Listing the costs for mundane traits and then also for magical traits. You guys have very limited magical power. You have the soul one, which gives you a dice pool of 2. You have a element. You've got to choose one of the 8 elements. And that element, any spells that you perform have to be linked. They either target that element or you use that element as an effect on something else. So that's, you keep 1 die and you have the spell, and I've put into the chat a list of the level 1 spells. or the level 1 tricks. You have detect element, which just allows you to become conscious of patterns of your element within the area. But you can spend experience to increase. You can either buy spells, more tricks of the sense level, or you could spend 10 and increase your soul to 2. And then if you still have experience, you might be able to afford to increase your
one of
elemental
the
pattern
stats. Yeah.
to 2. Yeah. And then by learning level 2, you also then learn understand element, which is the first of the level 2 tricks, which is also on that sheet that I've put on the chat.
Okay.
So I'll let you guys mull over it. Should we have a little bit of a break and you give you a chance, guys, a chance to have a look?
Sure. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
Cool. Right. 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah. 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Brilliant. Great.
Right.
Okay. Right. I'll see you in a bit.
We'll be right back.
Right.
All right, we're back playing the Linen Tapestry, which is a role-playing game set in Italy in the 1400s.
Yep, 1402 in Venice. Well, welcome back. So, we would have a break, let you guys spend your experience. So, Marco, 15 experience. You don't have to spend all your experience. If you want, you can save some for other things, but let us know what you've upgraded, bought, etc.
Yeah, so for Marco, I took 9 points and went ahead and put those into Mentor. 3 of them for the first rank, and then 6 for the second rank, to increase his relationship with Enzio. I think that would be important to him. And then the other 6 I spent on melee combat maneuvers. I think that's going to come into play with how he's going to lay out these 2 years.
Yeah,
I picked up lunge and cold strike.
Brilliant, excellent. So, because you've got him at rank 2, he is a Enzio Core is his mundane identity, but at rank 2, the more time you spend with them, the more you spend time with other people who are clearly not what they seem. But you hear the name mentioned more than once, and you're pretty sure they're referring to Enzio. And his name, there's 2 names. One of the names is Monogario, but the name that is used with the most prestige, as in whenever it's clear that there's a subordinate within this secret society, speak to him, they call him Narses, Narses. You're not from Venice, you don't have any laws, so neither of those names mean anything to you at the moment. However, if you do want to inquire, there is a library.
Yeah, I do have 1 rank in lore.
Ah, right, okay. What expertise?
I don't have any expertise. I just
okay.
wanted.
No, that's fine. You know how to read and write, but your knowledge in history. So you can visit the library and read, but it could take you a while, unless you start asking questions to people who are clearly at least 2 or 3 rungs higher than you on the ladder about your mentor. Are you willing to take the risk?
Not right now. I think Marco's kind of in a laying the foundation phase.
Yep.
Okay. He's trying to build the foundation of his empire before he starts getting into specifics like that.
Yeah, no problem. So as a mentor, not only does he look after you, send you out on errands, that sort of thing, he also teaches you what he knows. So you've got it at rank 2. So he can teach you, or he can reduce the cost by 1 of 6 ranks in anything. So at some point, you don't have to do it now, but list 6 ranks in any traits. They could be magical, they could be mundane. And when I mean ranks, it's a case of you want rank. So you want a rank 1 in a lore expertise, you put down, say it's history 1. If you want to buy that and he teaches you, it costs you 1 less experience to get it. If you wanted to have history 2, then that's a second of the 6 ranks. So it's ranks rather than traits. If you increase your background in mentor to rank 3, the number of ranks that he can teaches you goes up to 8, and the experience cost reduction increases to 2. So it's there. The other thing is, because he's your mentor and you have an attachment with him, on your character sheet, make a note that next to under attachments, there's a line for mentor. Put in there either you can call him Enzio, Narcissus, or Monogario. Your choice. You pick one of those, and he's your mentor. The attachment is at 0, but if you want to increase that, you can. You can, during a downtime period, shuffle some of your attachments around. So if you've got an attachment like a 5-point attachment, and you feel like your connection with your mentor is greater than the attachment with the other, so it could be like an ally, an organization, that sort of thing. If you feel like as though he's more important to you than that other attachment, you can shift it around. But this can only happen during downtime. Kind of reflects how you spend your time, what's important to you, that sort of thing. So list 6 ranks, not traits, 6 ranks, and what they're in, so that if you do want to increase those ranks, you get an XP reduction. Okay. So you got 2 combat maneuvers. That's brilliant. That's fine. What has Daucus spent his experience on? Can't hear you, Ken. Yeah, there you go.
Good. I would probably spend it on something, and honestly, I'm at a loss. Is it something that I can add after today's session?
Yeah. It's if you want to think about it, come back to it, so that before next session you can allocate the points.
Yeah, because I think that a combat maneuver would be pretty good, but I also like the idea of potentially, you said if I spent 10 points, I would be able to increase one of my...
You could increase your soul to 2.
Soul. What does that mean?
And so, in the Linen Tapestry, magic is ranked so that there's like a hierarchy. Mm-hmm. Your core is your soul. So for an initiate, the maximum is 2. You can't get any higher than that. For a red hand, it starts off at 3 and go up to 5. That sets a cap, so that if you've got a soul of 1, your element that you choose to focus your tricks on is capped at 1. Increased to 2, you can then increase your pattern to 2, and then when you do that, that expands the scope of your tricks. So at the top, you've got soul, and then beneath that you have your elemental patterns. Your elemental patterns determine what tricks you can go for. When you're a red hand, your soul also caps how powerful your avatar is. And if you go down the ritualist path, it caps what level rituals you can learn from the scions.
Yeah,
but if you want to,
the soul is at the middle of the page right there.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
So I might just, for simplicity's sake, increase my soul to 2 just for funsies.
Yep, sure. And that will leave you with
5 points.
Yeah,
to spend. And then if I have, like, for instance, my medicine is 1, if I could change that to 2, how many is that? How many points does that take?
Why
Or would
can I
that
not find
be-
it? No, you should be able to afford it. So if you go for a skill, it's the rank that you're purchasing times
So it's
2. So if you want to
4.
increase your medicine to 2,
Yeah.
then it'll cost you 4. And then
Alright.
experience is the rank. If I'm not suggesting that you should, but if you wanted to, you could increase your primary. No, let's forget it. It's too expensive. I was thinking, you might be able to increase your primary pattern, but
Yeah.
can't.
Need more
So
than 5.
just so I know, your element is fire.
Fire, and then
Yeah.
I guess it's the bear, Usam bear.
Yeah. So, Usham is a type of avatar which you only get when you're a red hand. So at the moment,
Okay.
all you've got access to is the trick detect element. So for you would detect sources of heat, fire, that sort of thing, using your detect elements spell. Marco's, was his element metal?
Yeah, metal.
Yeah. So when you use the trick detect element, you would detect the presence of metal. You can, if you guys wanted to, so say you were wanting to find true gold, for example, you can specify in your detect element for metal to find specific gold, and if you roll high enough, you will identify if there's gold there. For example, or if you wanted to distinguish between specific heats. It sounds a bit crazy, but say you've got a group of people and you're wanting to find someone who is smaller, like a child, they'll have less heat. So you could say, right, I want to detect heat sources that can only be a child, that sort of thing. So the system is designed to lay out a freeform spell creation. The tricks are there. How it takes form, what it does is entirely up to you, just so long as it fits in with the parameters, the cosmetics, everything else is entirely up to you. And that's the plan. That's the plan.
Like, does it work for cold, or like a lack of fire? Like if something is very cold?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. You might. It's entirely up to the narrator to then kind of say, well, do I give you a negative? But it's entirely up to the narrator.
Sure.
How you want. If you want to make it gritty, you could just say, right, it's almost like a void. So it's so hard to detect it. You detect it by knowing that it's so hard. Then there's an empty space there. That must be freezing cold. That sort of thing, or water. That's the feel that I want to give. The magic system in the Linen Tapestry, I don't want a list of spells that you go, right, I want to heal 8 hit points or acid splash or whatever. I want a system where it's completely freeform, and if a player is smart enough to wrangle the most out of a trick, go for it. And if the narrator wants to make it high fantasy or really gritty, they can set the boundaries of just exactly what a trick can do, that sort of thing. So, are you guys ready to move on back into background, into downtime?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, for the next year, bringing you guys up to the point that the story starts. So for Marco, you find yourself spending more time with Enzio. He sends you on lots of menial tasks, but you know that these menial tasks are there just simply to get you used to how Venice does things, and how your uncle does things is how Florence does things, and Venice is a very different beast. So even though he's treating you like a slave, you get the impression that he's got plans for you. And because you've spent that extra experience to make him into rank 2, it's a steep learning curve. So by the time the story starts, you and he are quite established. And this success has a tinge of sadness about it because your star is rising, but your uncle's star is beginning to dwindle. So that all the opportunities for the Medici Bank, as fledgling as it is, all the opportunities come via you. People turn up wanting a loan, promissory notes, anything like that. They're asking for you and not your uncle who started the enterprise in the first place. So I'll let you mull over that. Your uncle's not... There's no resentment yet, but you can tell that it wears on him. He's proud of you, but it's just every time someone sees you and not him, it's almost as if he's been knocked back. And you can feel that the power of his enterprise is slowly shifting into your hands, and you've got no control over it. It's just happening. So for Daucus, do you take the promotion as captain? You can, but you'd have to spend experience on it.
Yeah, I will.
So you would have to increase your backing.
Yeah, I would beg Vito to stay. Honestly, like I would tell him I'm not ready for this. I feel like you do so good. You do so good, Vito, Mr. Vimes. I think I'd be lost without you guiding me. Maybe give it a year of thought, and come back to me then, and I feel I may be able to be more confident in that role.
He smiles, pats you on the shoulder, and then the sadness sweeps across his face, and he leans in and just says, I might not have how long I'm here for is not something I can choose. If and when the time comes, I need to make sure that who replaces me knows what they're doing.
Well, I will do every effort in the short term to get caught up on all the needs, and I will do my best, sir.
Okay.
But
okay. And then the smile crosses his face, because that's lucky, because I haven't found anyone that I can trust yet. So I'll keep looking. But if you do know anyone, Dorker, you let me know. I kind of again slaps you on the shoulder, and the two of you just get back to work.
yeah.
Your feeling of being watched increases over the next year. Yeah, there is no doubt that the people following you anything that you do, like build a relationship or anything like that, when you're like your confidential informants or anything like that, certain things are ruined, such as someone that you're building up a trust with, you find out that they've been beaten black and blue. So at first you think it's the people that you were trying to get them to report to you about. You find out that it's not them, and it's another group, and your hunch is correct. There's no doubt. By the time the 2 years has passed, you know that Girolamo is after blood, and he's getting closer and closer to you. First it was your possessions, but now it's you being able to do your job. Because at the moment, your reputation is El Toro is great, but no one's willing to talk to you, because if they do, there are people out there who will beat them senseless. And the relationships that you were building up on the streets, they're beginning to fade. And just feel like it's just a question of when Girolamo puts in his final step. And you've got a feeling that the final step would be killing you. Do you tell Vito or anyone about your suspicions? These are just suspicions, but you're a street cop. This is your living. You get hunches, and you're usually right.
Yeah, I would probably give maybe not Vito, but my new buddy. I would probably, because he probably knows more about it. Enrico, a little bit about it. Enrico.
Okay.
Rossi.
Right. Speaking of Enrico, with Angua as a stat on your character sheet, you can, if you want, swap Angua out and have Enrico as your ally. Yeah. Alternatively, if you want, you can swap out Vito as your mentor and put in Enrico.
I might swap
as your
out
mentor.
Vito as my mentor, because it sounds like he's on the way out, and I'm leaning on Enrico for more things.
Sure. That's fine. You can
switch my cohort to Vito. Does that make sense?
Well, you'd put in, when I was going through the character sheets, I noticed that you'd put in Angua as your cohort. Well, cohort is a group of people. Oh. So I've moved Angua is an ally. So if you had, so your followers, your cohort of followers would be like the people that you work the San Polo district with. That sort of thing.
Night Watch.
Yeah.
So but that's that's the organization.
So the organization's what you have backing in. So you've got backing within the Night Watch. So that's the level of your authority.
Yeah.
That organization. Your cohort is based on your ranks in associates. So your associates give you individual allies and a small group of followers. So your cohort is your followers, which is linked with your associates background.
Okay.
Society trait. Okay. But if you want to swap anything out, either of yous, to reflect how your character changes, what's important, what's not important, more than happy to. You don't have to spend experience. You're just using downtime to shift your allegiances.
Yeah, I'll switch Vito to Enrico, because it sounds like Vito's on his way out just from, which is sad. And then my organization is Night Watch, but I would like to have like police cohorts, just to give them some kind of power structure in there.
Right. So your cohorts are your followers. So I think you've got one rank in associate. Yeah. So it's just a small group. Like, for example, Luigi is one of your followers.
Yeah. And so Luigi and what was his name as well?
Mario?
No, his name was Alfredo. He was my little bird.
Oh, that was it. Yes, it was Alfredo. Right, yes. So, yeah, they're not major people. They're not... I mean, an ally is someone who would put their life on the line for you. Your followers wouldn't, but they'd help you out wherever they can. But if you want, as I say, if you want to swap things around, you can, especially over downtime. Right. So...
Yeah, I went ahead and switched a few things around also, mostly because I wanted to give Enzio a higher rank. So I gave Enzio 20, and then my ally Enrique the Sicilian, I dropped him down to 15, and the organization, which is my uncle's bank, I dropped it from 10 to 5, which would make sense. And this I kind of want to explain how I'm seeing it in my mind. Marco he opened the school, right? And so that moves him away from his uncle's bank anyway. And really, he's setting up his friend Enrique to run the school, and Marco's really he's doing the like the marketing and stuff for it. I'm thinking he's leveraging the ongoing wars in the area to bring veterans in to help train, give advice, and then market to the younger nobles in the city as the most elite school. And I think how he'll do it, because I did keep my family at 25 for my attention. And so I think how he'll do it is he'll have a little conversation with his uncle and be like, I know most people are coming to me, but I don't want a whole lot to do with the finance. I want you to take care of that. And that way, even though his name's not on it, he's taking in all the money, and everything I do, I'll do it. Everything I finance, I'll take a loan out for it so that he gets interest on top of that.
Right. Okay.
So that extra money should smooth it over.
I'll change my Vito to be an ally, and I'll give him 25. So can I do that?
So are you? Yeah. So you're removing Angua as your ally and putting Vito in.
No, I am gonna keep. Should I keep Angua as an ally even though she's far away? Because I don't ever use my adopted mom, in anything, because she's in the mountains far away. So I feel like I should just drop her completely because it doesn't fit the story.
Right. No problem. So I'm gonna have to check character sheets. Hold on.
Yeah.
So you've got. So have you increased your associates? Your rank in associates?
No, I've got a 1 rank in associates.
Right. So that's you have 1 ally.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
and then I have a 1 rank in backing.
So your 1 rank in backing is just the organization. So that's your rank within the Night Watch. Okay, so and if you want to move Vito to an ally, you would have to lose Angua as an ally.
Oh, I get it. And then I have 1 rank in mentor, which is Enrico. And then I have 2 ranks in network.
So network is the scope, so that all of your... So for example, your associates, your cohort, if you went to a nearby town or a city, you would know someone.
Okay.
So you're able to apply all of your society in a much bigger network. So network of 0 is grand.
And then so I guess I'll drop Angua.
Yeah, but bear in mind you still have a favor.
Okay.
She needs to repay you, so it's like a get out of jail free card. That sort of thing. Right.
So
are we? Oh.
And then I had a family at 25. So what do I do with that? What is that from?
That's just that I guess it's your loyalty to your family.
Okay. So that
if you want to shift, so it's effectively you sending your money to your family every month is how dedicated you are to them.
All right.
But it's entirely up to you if you want to shift them down.
No, it makes sense.
It's up to you.
I think I did. Okay. I went and visited her. I mean, it's not doing any it's only making me feel good and honorable.
Yeah. No, that's fine. But as I say, as long as you're not, you can shift attachments and that sort of thing around.
Sure.
Because your character changes, your priority changes, and that's what attachments are. Okay. So back to the story. 2 years is coming to an end. There's a couple of events. The major event is about 6 months ago, the Holy Roman Emperor was thoroughly defeated outside Milan, even though he has the Holy Empire behind him. The Duke of Milan was underestimated, and he destroyed, utterly routed the Holy Roman Emperor. That has sent shockwaves through the area, because everyone now knows that what was holding back Gian was the fear that he couldn't win. But now he's defeated perhaps one of the most powerful people in Europe. And sure enough, within a matter of months, he's begun a march. He's started to muster his forces to Milan, and word spreads out in all directions that the Duke is about to go to war once again. As word reaches Venice that he has begun his march, rumours are that he's heading east, and then other people think that he's heading south. But it's quite clear that he is going to try and continue what he had started long ago. Come on, there you go, Herb. Oh,
I think he's going to win this one.
Yeah, look what the saying. Right, come on down. Come on. 21 weeks.
Who's the little Duke of Milan? Who is our little Duke, baby?
Duke of Milan. You beast. What was that? Yes, the Duke of Milan. Yeah. So he's begun his march. Roughly around about the same time as news hits Venice, there is an attempt on your life, Daucus. You're resting. You've finished your night shift, so you sleep during the day, and the smell of smoke wakes you up. Just as you gather your senses, you realize that either your building your apartment in the tenement is on fire, or next door is, and you've got like a matter of minutes to get out. You manage to grab as much as you can, and you get out, and you can, as you're fleeing with dozens of other families, and as you turn back, you can see that your whole block is slowly burning to the ground. A lot of Venice on the outskirts is just wood. All the stone buildings either line the Grand Canal or decorate San Marco. Where you are in San Polo isn't as blessed. One second.
They tried to kill you by burning the whole block to the ground.
Yeah, that's hate. That's what that is.
That kid is such a coward,
hate.
Man.
Yeah, that is some that's no good. No good for anybody. Especially not all the families who I actually care about.
Right. The people of Venice.
It's the people that I care about. I'm a big fan of the people.
A man of the people.
I'm a man of the people, hopefully. And on my way out, I'm like banging on all the doors, like making sure everybody gets out.
Yep.
You know, I'm yelling at the top of my lungs, fire, fire, and I'm gonna, run and try and find where the source of the fire is, I guess.
It's by the time you manage to ensure everyone's out, people are chucking water over the buildings. The blaze is so great, there's no way of finding out where it started. It's you would guess that it's close to where you live, like maybe outside your door, next door, that sort of thing. But as you're heading out, you do notice a face that you may have seen before, a noble. But by the time if you do try and pursue him, he's gone. But he grins as he kind of looks over his shoulder once he realizes that you're following him, and then he's gone.
Yeah. So I can't follow him, or can I try to follow him?
You do, with all the chaos of everyone rushing towards the area with buckets.
Yeah.
You're kind of caught in the against the flow of the people.
I'll stop looking after him, and I'll start trying to put the fire out along with everybody else.
The people need you.
The people need a hero. Yeah. So the.
Can I use my fire ability to tell me where the heat of it is, and like, that's where it needs to go, guys. We need to put the fire out here.
I think you can use your eyes, really, because it's a big blaze. So.
That's the one on fire. I got you.
So, the story begins a lot sooner than I thought, actually. I mean, we've got another hour. How long have we got?
I got an hour. Hour and a half.
You got an hour? Brilliant. Grand. Okay.
Got an hour.
So
I've got another game after this, so.
Yeah. You let me know when you want to finish. I don't want to. I think we're a bit more relaxed time-wise, so that it's not a case of. Though Ken, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm under the impression that this can take as long as it needs to be. So if it spills into 5 or 6, as long as it's 3 hours, which means that we're not holding back Miller, and I can go to bed at a reasonable time. That sort of thing. Brilliant. Okay.
There's no pressure for me.
Right. So, Marco, you receive a letter. It has the wax seal of the De Medicis. You open it up with. Well, it's addressed to you and your uncle, so you both open it at the same time. You read, to your despair, that Giovanni de Medici has decided to reach out to Venice. There is no doubt that the Duke of Milan is marching south. His first target is clearly Bologna, and then Florence is the obvious next target. He goes down the Apennine Mountains, and as soon as he can do that, he can cut off the northwest of Italy from the rest of Italy. And then he can just sweep eastwards to the lagoon and to the coast and just take over.
What he thinks.
So in the letter, it explains that Giovanni himself, now bearing in mind, over the last 2 years, whatever's been decided between Enzio Corre and him has been good for both sides. Giovanni's name is almost commonplace in Venice and in the Veneto region. He will be coming, as well as a lady by the name of Epifania Fanara, a name that neither of you have heard of. He asks you to prepare lodgings for them and their retinue, which also includes Amerigo. And they should be there within a week. And then also to let Enzio Corre know. Okay. Your uncle, after he reads it again, and your character wasn't old enough to fight in the wars against the Duke of Milan, but your uncle was. He wasn't on the front line, but he He served Venice, and he is shaken. The whole idea that the Duke of Milan could be marching again terrifies him. And as you're reading the letter and he rereads it, he looks to you and says, please, please don't fight. He is a monster. All those who serve under him are monsters. The things that they did to the people, the villages, the towns, they destroyed everyone. And when he says destroyed, there's an emphasis on that. You get the impression that he didn't just kill people, or the people that flocked to his banners, they did more than just kill people. Herbie, get down. Get down, Herbie. Good boy. What is there any things that you want to ask him?
Well, Uncle, I don't think I'll be joining an army fight. I think you know me enough by now to know that confronting such a catastrophe head on isn't my style. But I would do everything in my power to stop the Duke from attacking Florence, or family's home, and from attacking Venice. And I do appreciate any advice you could give me of how to steer clear of the danger.
Wherever he marches, there is danger. Yes, he is said to be able to march day and night. And he then shakes his head as if he can't believe the things that he's thinking about.
Well, and in his wake, what supply lines are left? Does he just march on what he can take from others?
What he did last time was he would take a town, destroy all the villages nearby, take all the resources, and then move on to the next. But he would do it. He shakes his head. But how he can travel so quickly is... Yes, he's known as the Viper of Milan for good reason. When he strikes, it is quick, and sometimes so quick you cannot respond. But I will prepare residence here for the lady, Panara, and Giovanni. I will let you speak to Enzio.
Don't worry yourself too much, Uncle. Bye. I'll see what you're taking care of.
Okay. The rest of Venice, because the last time when the Duke of Milan marched, Venice led the resistance. So once again, obviously you're in Venice, you're only going to get the Venetian side of things. But Venice saved the day. And as far as those from Bologna and Florence are concerned, there is an element of truth. But once the news settles into the streets and the canals of Venice, everyone is putting the name forward. Everyone wants to join the fight. It is a time where people are make names for themselves, and if they die in the defense of the Republic. When your fencing group meets up again, everyone wants to go. they are going to join the fight. Once Venice raises their banners to join Florence and Bologna in the defense of the region, they're all going. And they all look to you to lead them.
Yeah, that. Sorry. Yes, that's likely. I don't see how we could not. We are the best fighters in Venice, are we not?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But not only that, we train the best fighters in Venice. So for now, I think we focus on training as many Venetians as we can. How many of Venetians' sons will march off into battle without our training?
Yep, they love it. So they start heading out, and for the next few days, for the next couple of days, you just get riffraff coming in, and they're all thinking that you guys will turn them into killers, heroes within a couple of hours, and you realize that a lot of these people, they're just liabilities. They're going to get not just themselves killed because they have no discipline, but they'll get people on their left and on their right killed as well. So you're having to knock people back, but at the same time quickly weed out the chaff from the wheat. That takes up a lot of your time. However, do you head out to speak to Enzio?
I was, yes, and it's going to tie right into it too. So I'll speak to Enzio, and he stays at the palace, right? The Ducal Palace.
He has his own. He's got his own household, a grand property along the Grand Canal.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I'll go there then.
Okay. He welcomes you in. A little late. I was expecting you to no doubt. I understand that you may have had a message from Florence.
I did receive one. Giovanni will be here in 2 weeks, and he wanted me to set up a meeting between the two of you. I assume it's rather important.
Of course, you will be there as well. In this matter, it is best that you are by not just my side, but by his. And then I will deal with the Grand Council. No matter what will be said in the next few weeks, remember one thing. Florence has my backing. No matter what you hear, even if it comes from me in the public forums, your kin has my backing, and I will do my utmost to ensure that Venice heeds the call. But there is only so much I can do. Is Giovanni traveling alone?
No, he's bringing the lady. Sorry, I missed her name.
Epifania Fanara. It's as soon as you mention her name, there is a glint of recognition. When you first start talking, like this was like years ago, when you first mentioned your cousin Giovanni, there wasn't any acknowledgement. It was like, oh right, yes, he knows the name De Medici, but as soon as you mention Fanara, you can see there's recognition in his eyes, and he kind of smiles and nods and says he is traveling with the best of companies.
Who is she? I haven't heard her name before.
She is She is an artist. She is a musician of the highest caliber. And he looks at your outcast. You clearly weren't expecting someone to say, she's a musician. And he kind of grins at your response. Just, you should know by now that the power of words is far greater than the power of takes out coin, money, sword, the voice. If you can captivate your audience, and she certainly can, there is very little people can do to stop her.
Like Helen of Greece.
Exactly, yes. She may be a lover of music and law and academia, but never underestimate her. She has served Venice well, and Giovanni is bringing her. He has got a better chance of Venice once again serving Florence. But this is very interesting news, and I must pass on this information to others. I will let you go. Thank you very much for speaking to me on this matter. As I say, and he leans in, no matter what I say in the public forum, know that your kin has my backing. Okay. Daucus, you noticed that within a few days of the news that Milan is marching on Florence, Bologna, Padua, Venice, the crime rate drops dramatically. There is a universal feeling of patriotism where, once again, Venice has a well-defined enemy. And what an enemy. There is rumours upon rumours of what diabolical things Gian Galizzaro has done to his, not just his victims and his enemies, but to his allies as well. Is there anything that you...
Yeah,
I think you muted.
I kind of wanted to do a couple of things. When after, I presume I know exactly who is trying to kill me, so I would probably go make a mention of that to Vito, but then I would kind of think about some of the allies that I've had, and want to kind of surround myself with people. So I would talk. I would probably go and talk with Mateo about it, but I can't do that in this moment. So I would like to talk to maybe go and check in with Vito and see if there's
Enrico?
or Enrico, to see if there's maybe a place I could stay that was a little more off the radar.
Okay. So when you is it like the same day as the fire or the same evening as the fire?
When the fire, we put the fire out. I'm gonna make sure that the fire is out because if all of the if the area is made out of wood, I think that'd be a failure if we didn't make sure the fire was fully out.
Yeah. I'm not sure how they would do it in Venice, but they'll have been clever enough to have.
I got detection. I got fire detection.
Yes, your fire senses are tingling.
Yeah. Any like smoldering areas, like I'm gonna detect. Get that.
Don't worry, you are the last person to leave because you are confident that there were no embers left.
No embers out. I would probably go to Enrico and
Okay. Okay. You, as always, when you get to the Squala Evangelista, you have to knock on the door, and then that surly servant opens the door, but they don't. She doesn't even bother asking like why you're here. She just opens the door and says he's in, and you just walk straight in. Doors open. He's doing some sort of biological study. He's got like a corpse of some kind. He's cutting it up. He's studying. You've no idea exactly what he's doing, but it would look kind of gruesome if you weren't already used to it.
Yeah, I got a 2 in medicine.
Yeah, so you kind of
Is that the spleen?
That would be...
What is that?
No, that's the liver. But yes, but yeah, he's like having up like a sheep or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But because you have got first aid, you would notice that he isn't just carving it up. He's taking sections out, but he's going to organs such as the liver, the spleen, and it's almost as if he's, from your limited knowledge of medicine, obviously you know the whole idea that some parts of the body deal with humours. You got the 4 humours, and he seems to be carving up and extracting areas that deal with humours, such as I think the spleen does one humour, obviously the heart does blood, the liver does another one, that sort of thing. So he's obviously doing something with humours. Enrico sees the soot all over you. He stops what he's doing. So, are you all right? And he starts washing his hands and asks you to sit down because you'll be like parts of your clothing will be burned. You're covered in yes. Sit down, and he gets you a drink.
I got a feeling that one of the noble families, they don't like me so much. So I got a feeling that maybe one of these noble families wants me dead. For one reason or another. I know who it is. I'm gonna go and see one of my buddies who's kind of noble in the area, see if he can protect me a little bit. But I was wondering if you guys had any kind of situation where I could bunk up here, make sure that maybe my neighbors don't have to feel the brunt of my issues.
He looks around. I mean, obviously there's a table, but it's occupied, and that could be used as a cot. I know someone who could. Are you wanting to stay somewhere that's secret, that no one will know that you're there?
Yeah, maybe that has a back entrance somehow where I can make sure I'm not being followed and go down a tunnel and you know just I just hate it how I'm disturbing the peace with you know their issues. It's not my issues. I don't really care, but clearly they do.
Okay. Right. There is someone. She will have places that you could stay. Her name is Elizabeth. I will have to reach out to her and find her. Explain the situation to her, and no doubt she'll be able to find you a place where you can lay low. But who is this noble? Which family?
Well, I think Marco Antonio de Medici. He's got some similar rivalry with this one fella who kind of acted out. So I think he'd be inclined to help me out on this problem. Because we don't need to be fighting each other. We got to be fighting against this Duke, a Viper fella. There's no
Yes.
no reason for these old noble whatever that is.
I notice you haven't answered the question though. Which noble do you think or know is doing this, and what has he done?
Oh, well, I kind of arrested him once for being a bad actor. His name is, what is his name? I'm trying to. I arrest so many people. What is his name? Girolamo Tribuno, I think is the fellas that doesn't like me so much.
Okay.
He's
I would not
really
be able
got
to
it out-
assist you.
Got it out for me.
I wouldn't be able to assist you directly with this matter. His father's quite a prominent figure.
I know that. That's why I harbor no ill will, but when it comes to the danger of, my neighbors, I think we need to get this settled. And I have a good friend that might help me settle it.
Okay.
Just quiet.
I will reach out to Elizabeth, explain to her the situation. She will find you. But if you wish to speak to this friend of yours, yes.
Yeah, I'll
as
probably
you're-
go reach out to him. We'll see what we can do.
As you're leaving,
Yeah.
he says, one good way of making sure that you're laying low is leaving the city. I hear a lot of people will be heading west if the banners are called.
That's true, but this is my city, and I keep the peace here. I think I do a good job. I notice crime is down a little bit lately, but there's a lot of talk about me becoming captain of the guard, and I can't rightly be doing that without taking care of these little details. I realize nobles are important, and I think that they are just and their issues. So
The Tribuno family is not a minor detail or issue.
yeah, you are correct, sir.
What exactly? He moves towards you. You're like at the doorway, and now you're having a conversation in the doorway.
Yeah.
What exactly has he done?
Well, he did set fire to my building, probably. I don't have any real proof, but little things are happening where he beats up some of my, where I get my information. He beats
And you know this to be him. You have proof.
Well, I don't have rightly any proof, but he did say that he was going to come after me. So, I mean, that's proof enough to me for once. I do a real good job of being friendly to most locals, and I have a pretty good reputation. I know when somebody doesn't like me.
If that somebody is a Tribuno, yeah, my hands are tied. If it was not a noble, we could find resolution, I believe, fairly quickly. But
well, I don't intend on...
not with one of the patricians of the Republic.
Oh, absolutely not, sir. I hope to kind of iron our issues out in a kindly way. Something that we can all just be amicable to just resolving the situation and letting bygones be bygones, as you would think.
Good luck with that. You find your friend. I will speak to Elizabeth, and she will come to you, hopefully with a location that you can be safe.
Well, I thank you very much, sir. I just don't want to put people in danger. That's my number one goal.
Yes. Yep. he turns, you can see he's thinking about it, and then he just goes back to what he was doing as you head out. Okay. Right, you leave the squale. What do you do? What is your next?
I'll go visit Marco.
Okay. Mark, you probably say that you're heading back after your conversation with Enzio. As you're heading back, you can see people come backwards and forwards. The club has like tripled in size. You're not just weeding out poor fighters, you're also weeding out, or are you weeding out those who are poor? Are you only taking the most wealthiest of clientele?
No. We'll take the poor too. I think like my instructions to the, my friend Enrique and the other, core members of the group would be to assess their talents, see if they can learn their fighting capability and their willingness. After they've been punched in the face a couple of times, their willingness to keep going. Take that into account first, and then take the money thing into account. So, split them up. At least by name. Continue the training, but at least by name. Split some into. Some people are going to go into the logistics side, and some people are going to go into the, the fighting force.
So are you wanting to create the foundations of a company?
Essentially,
like right, brilliant.
Yeah, that's his idea. Essentially, raising his own small army.
Okay. In this period and in this area, these companies were called condottieri. Condottiere is literally someone who is contracted to fight. There are very famous condottieris. One of the most famous is actually an Englishman. He passed away a few years ago. His name was John Hawkwood. So what you're doing is it's almost like a tradition in this area, and especially for Venice, because Venice has no standing army. They've got the city guard, they've got militia, but they're not fully trained. So what Venice would do is they would just buy an army, and North Italy is filled with companies. But the most famous, because he's a foreigner, was this John Hawkwood. But there are lots of others. You don't have enough law or history or anything like military. Have you got any warfare?
I do. Just one. Not a lot. I figured a part of his schooling he would.
Yeah. So you would know of the name John Hawkwood. You'd know other names, but he is by far the most famous. He might have actually fought and died, as far as you're aware, against the Duke the last time. This was must have been about 4, 5, maybe 7, 8 years ago. It's a bit hazy, but that just reflects your lack of academia on the subject. Daucus, as you approach the fencing school, because it's a new premises now, new and improved. Where you had the fencing school originally, you would have no chance to accommodate all the people coming in. But now that you've got the premises arranged by Enzio, you can. But Daucus, as you're approaching, you can see that this place is heaving. There's loads of people walking in. You can hear, as you're heading around the corner down the street towards it, you can hear the clatter of swords. But not in a fight, because you recognize the sound of a fight straight away. There's that chaos, the brutal chaos. With this, it's almost as if it's timed, like cha cha cha, chat. That's a kind of flow to it. Just as you're heading down the street, you can just about make out the silhouette, because it's evening now. The sun is beginning to set. You can make out the silhouette of Marco just as he's heading in. He's within shouting distance. You're muted.
Marco.
Hello.
Marco.
How long has it been, my friend?
It's been 2 years. If it's been, I don't know, 15 minutes.
Oh.
Or 2 weeks. Or 3 months. It's been 2 years.
Yeah. Too long.
Way too long. It's so good to see you.
You've actually come to mind recently, and now here you are.
Well, you've also come to mind. We have a friend that I think you'd want to help me take care of. Well, in the best possible way, of course. A mutual friend who is a delight for us all. But you remember that Tribuno fellow, Giolamo? That fella, he acted a real bad fella at that one bar that we were with Mateo, I think, at that time. And he acted up. I think he tried to kill your friend, Amerigo.
He did. He pulled out a knife in a in a bar fight.
Yeah. Well,
complete coward.
Yeah. Well, I think he might be trying to kill me. Just a hunch.
How's that?
Well, I don't have a lot of enemies, and I don't really like to presume so much. But he kind of said I'm gonna get you one of these days, and well, I think that's what he's gonna do. He set fire to my building, and he's beating up some of my informants. It's real bad news. And so I just don't right know what to do to him, but I wish he'd stop.
Well,
I don't really have.
Come on into the
status.
school.
Oh, thank you.
Come on into the school. Let's get some food and have a drink. You can rest. I've got a spot here. You can stay.
Well, I wouldn't want you to put you in trouble. I think your school would be in danger if I was to remain here. I'm working out some lodgings.
As you say that and you're heading in, you can see that there are 24 to 40 people, all clashing swords. You're surrounded by people armed to the hilt, so you're in a pretty safe place. Sure. Unless Giolamo comes with an army, I think you feel quite safe. As soon as you see the courtyard, you realize this is where all the sword clattering is coming from.
Oh, yeah, your school has grown mighty large, sir.
Well, if you haven't heard, war is on our doorstep.
Oh, I have heard.
It's been very lucrative.
What are you gonna go and fight?
I intend to, yes.
Are you two talking privately or quite open?
Yeah, if he asks me that, I will definitely make sure it's private.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Give me the head nod, and we'll head off to the kitchen.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I do intend to fight. My intention is mostly to improve the fighting capability of Venice. They don't have a standing army, and I'm not sure if you noticed. More than half of those kids in there, they have the heart, but they just don't have the skill. But I do intend to take some of them, and I intend to end the Duke.
Practice makes better. Is there anything I can do, maybe, maybe if you help me out with my little thing, I can help you out with your little thing. You know,
Well, I think I can help. I think I can help you out with your thing, and I said you came to mind the other day. I was going to invite you anyway to come with me, sort of a personal bodyguard, when we do march,
Well,
if we need to.
I would be at your service. I have been nominated to be the city guard watch, or the captain of the city guard, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I think I got a lot of learning to do. I'm good at the one-on-one, but directing all kinds of sorts of people it's a little bit over my skill set, I think.
Well, congratulations. Let's open up a bottle of Sicilian wine in your honor. So my proposal for you to come with me might actually suit both of our needs. Pop the bottle and pour. You could take a small contingent, 10 to 20 men. Begin training with them here. Train them up. I'll make sure a few of my my fencing club mates are your officers or non-commissioned officers, and I'll help you learn how to be in charge of people.
Well, that'd be good to know, because I really don't know how to do that. I just know how people are. You just, intimidation, a little bit of kindness goes a long way. But getting people to do a thing together in a tandem, like marching order and all that's very, very much. I really don't know about that, so it's good to know. I would love to learn a new ability.
And to be completely honest with you, my friend, I don't either. We have a couple of veterans here who are very good at training folks, and I'll make sure there's one by your side.
Well, thank you very much for that.
Now on to your problem.
Well, I believe it's Guillermo trying to kill me, because he just told me that he was trying to kill me when we arrested him that night, and that he was going to get vengeance. And I just presume that he needs to be, just a slight little framing of his adjustment of how he feels about me, because I harbor no ill intent for him. And I don't think he should be punished. I think he was punished and served his time, except for the fire bit. I feel like he might need to be punished again for that, but we let bygones be bygones sometimes with the nobility, and everything gets along pretty smooth. So it seemed like it was a little bit over the pay scale of most of the folks that I usually run with, and I think you could help me out in some way. And I certainly am open up to suggestions on how we might manufacture this peace agreement between the Tribuno family and myself.
Sure, and I know you have a good heart, my friend. He made similar threats to me, but I've not seen him at all. I mean, obviously he lacks the character to come after me. But a simple, good-hearted man like you make an easy target for such narcissists. I'll tell you what. I've had some plans on dealing with him anyway. I think he is a danger to Venice as a whole, especially with the weight that he throws around with his name. I don't think there's any redeemable qualities in him. So I've kind of been contemplating a plan anyway. I'd like to lure him into a duel and kill him publicly with honor.
Wow. Well, that is something. You do believe in your abilities.
I'm sure. Jesus said the meek shall inherit the earth. I think a little bit differently.
Well,
Not to be blasphemous or anything.
Old Testament. Old Testament.
I don't. Yeah. I don't look to inherit. So my meaning is, Guillermo
Girolamo.
He's already been on my list as someone who needs to be taken out of the way. I don't necessarily mean killed or eliminated, but definitely put in a place where he can no longer do such things, where he knows he has no power.
Do you think that maybe something we could do is to, because of the attempt on that other note, Mocenigo's life, do you think that he would want a part of our plan to, or do you think that is opening up the doors too wide to this plan of ours that we are in the very basics of forming?
Oh yeah, I think that might be a little bit much. Okay. I considered, giving him a position to lead troops, but then, if we leave him out to dry, then we leave the troops out to dry, and I'd hate to see that happen. I had a little something else. Perhaps, do you know if he has a woman of interest in his life?
I know very little about Girolamo, but I would be happy to make an investigation upon his meanderings. I do have a couple of little birds that he probably doesn't know that could follow him.
That'd be good. I think that would be a good way to initiate conflict. Very quietly, of course. No one can know that this is our plan.
But
and then,
I
can.
I do think that Mocenigo, if not directly contacted, if he was there to witness it, he would probably tell a story in our favor.
Oh yeah. There's probably several folks who would.
And maybe we get him doing one of his actions and maybe in an inappropriate time. Acting out.
Now that's a better idea. That's a better idea, to catch him in such a state and make it public.
Well, I think we should plan this. I think we've got the beginning of the plan for sure.
Yeah. Why don't you do some investigations? And I have
I will.
I have a couple of older contacts in the city that can give me some perspective on this.
And
then I'll meet you back here tomorrow about the same time for dinner.
Well, yeah, I was kind of hoping maybe I could stay tonight.
Oh yes,
I got no place else to go right now. I got some things in the work, but I really and I don't mean to be a bother. And if you think that, I mean, I don't think he followed me here, but he may have. I think he's done what he's gonna do at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. My servant here can show you to your quarters for the night. I just have to talk to my my people before we close everything up for the night.
Well, I very much appreciate that.
Okay, so 7:10's up. You give him fresh clothes, put in a bath, set for the night. Is there anything you two want to do before the end of the night? No. Okay.
I just want to make sure I have a couple of guys around, a couple of guys that stay there.
Yeah. Yep. So as soon as they finish training, 4 or 5 stay behind. Yep, no, that's fine. Next day, there is very little has changed. There's always reports, rumours coming in of how close the Duke of Milan is, but they change from hour to hour. Are you wanting to start your investigation into Girolamo?
Yeah, I would probably reach out to Alfredo and Luigi and have a short conversation with the two of them.
Right. Could you make a interaction, investigate, and if you have it, add on your rumors? You can, if you want, because you're using your cohort, you can spend a spirit point and increase the number of dice that you are keeping by your associates.
Right.
So I think you've got investigate 2, so you keep 2 dice.
Yeah, 2 investigate, but I have rumors plus 5.
And then you add 5 to your tally. So
okay.
you roll your interaction dice, which is it 6?
My interaction is 6. So that's 6 dice
so you
or
roll,
3 dice?
So you roll 6 dice.
Okay.
If you're spending a spirit point, you can increase the number of dice that you retain from 2 to 3.
Uh-huh.
So roll 6, keep 3. If you roll any 10s, automatically keep them. If you roll any 1s, scrap them.
All right. I'll just roll real dice. So no 10s. That is no 10s at all, but I rolled 2 9s and an 8.
Okay, so keep those 3.
26, 31.
31, yep. That is an impressive success. It takes you about a couple of days. Yeah, it takes about 2 days for your Alfredo and Luigi and all your other members of the Night Watch to come back to you. Girolamo has no in this single interest. He is a bit of a man-whore. He just moves from one brothel to the next, causes a fight, gets kicked out, uses his reputation to get him into the next one. He is a true fire starter. He really cares about no one other than himself, and if you were hoping to use his love interest against him, it won't work because he has no love interests.
Well, he loves the game. Don't hate the player.
Yes, yeah. During those 2 days, though, you are approached by a lady. If you've got the book, and you can bring up an image from the page, if you go to page, well, it'll be page 59. And there is in
the Legends of Venice book?
Yep, Legends of Venice. There is a picture of Elizabeth.
I feel like we have different page numbers.
All right.
Here, are you looking at my screen share? I think I have a lot of these. Let me see. No, I don't think I have her. This is what's on 59 for me. I don't think that's her.
That's your 59. Nope.
Is it how many pages is it after that?
That's page 59. You know. It's actually about 6 or 7 pages.
All right, it's 6 or 7 pages after that. All right, that's interesting.
Yeah, it'll have 59 on the page itself, top right. But you'll see her. She's She's the first.
Oh, I see. I see. I might just be. It's in a PDF, so I'm actually it'd be like what is it? 39? Is that correct? No, that's so many. My math is not great. 20.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll arrange the picture next time. So, during your investigations, during those 2 days, you're approached by a lady who,
Is this her?
Yep, that's her. That's Elizabeth. Yep. You notice her following you. Not too discreetly, but you get the impression that if she was really wanting to hide, you wouldn't spot her. But she's tailing you for a good couple of hours. You know she's following you. She knows that you know. What do? Do you cut this cat and mouse short, or do you see what she does?
I think I'll step into a dark alley, just kind of, and let her follow me in, so we can be alone. Just wait for her.
She she stays. She hovers at the entrance, sees you,
and then
looks around, and then she approaches.
Yeah. I noticed that you were going to the same place. Might I help you with some directions?
No. I think I've found what I'm looking for. Enrico has sent me. I understand that we have a common enemy.
That might be the case. Why don't we say it both the name at the same time, and we'll see if we got it. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Girolamo Tribuno.
Yeah, that's it. That's correct.
It is now 11 o'clock here. We've had 3 hours. We've actually progressed much further than I thought. Should we leave it there?
Yeah, I think this is a good place to.
Right. If you guys have got any queries about anything you spent experience points on or shifting attachments, go ahead, that's fine. When I went through your character sheet, Ken, I noticed that you were missing one skill dot. So put a skill dot anywhere you want, and then underneath that skill, you've got a rank in an expertise underneath it.
Okay.
I think that was the only thing. Right. I really enjoyed that. It was just so good to get back into the flow. So next week, same time, same place.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward.
Yeah, that should work. Actually, if it's just us, I could do it an hour earlier. That'd give us a little extra time.
Yeah, hour earlier is fine with me.
It works for you guys.
Start at 7. Yeah, should be all right. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Once I've sedated Herbie, I should be all right. Yeah.
Awesome.
The joke.
All right.
Right. Cheers, guys, and I will see you next week. Brilliant.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks a
Cheers
bunch for
watching.
watching.
See you later.
It's Monday Night Game with Geeky Gamer Podcast, featuring Miller, John, and myself. Patreon, please join it. Geeky Gamer Podcast, and Dreadlore, thanks for the music. All lowercase letters, Mr. Interrupt, and Couchfire Media for production, Twire Blade Productions for, I don't even think they do anything. Till next week, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll see you then.
Brilliant. Take care.